William.
Hmm.
In a Jurassic World, all Jeep vehicles are Jurassic rated. I've been mad about this for a while because I texted you when I first saw it.
Well,
Yeah,
mhm, mhm.
it's been close to 2 weeks since then. Still mad, and it's still in here. I'm so like angry on behalf of the English language. Like that means nothing. And what's worse, for okay, hi everybody. So there's a commercial because Jeep and the Jurassic World reboot movie are synergizing or whatever. But in the commercial, if you haven't seen it, they say in a Jurassic World that there's no preamble to this. This is the start of the commercial. In a Jurassic World, all Jeep vehicles are Jurassic rated. I'm I don't know if you ever saw this. There's a classic Lewis Black bit about the dumbest thing he ever heard in his life. He was sitting in an IHOP and he overheard a woman say, "If it weren't for my horse, I would never have spent that year in college."
Yeah, you've
And
mentioned
he
that before.
he has an elab. This is that for me. I hate it so much, and I've been trying to like. It's dumb. I mean, it's okay, it's full nonsense. It is straight up an abuse of the concept of words for so many reasons. But because it's sitting in my brain and I don't have anything to do with it other than go, and sometimes I get tired, my brain is trying to like make it make sense.
Hmm.
And this is the closest I can come up with. Sorry if you're all hearing my cat in the background yelling. He's had a weird morning and he really wants some attention. Anyway, here when we strip it of its advertising synergy-ness, here's an equivalent statement. In a world where magic actually exists, all Jeep vehicles are resistant to dark spells.
Sure. Yeah, that seems to be the
Now, what would
general.
one think if one heard that in a Jeep commercial?
Uh, I don't know.
What would if you saw a Jeep commercial and it wasn't tied to a Harry Potter movie or whatever, and they said that? What would you say? What would like you're sitting on the couch with your wife and that comes up?
I wouldn't know why they were taking that approach to selling their Jeeps. If it were tied to a some kind of movie or whatever, I'd understand. They're trying, oh, I
But
see. They're trying to
that's
be clever. But
but that's not. But it's not clever.
they're trying to be clever, is what I'm saying. But most ads aren't clever when they're trying to be, so it wouldn't be
I'm
a big
just
shock to
saying
me.
we don't get to give nonsense a pass just because it's a tie-in with a movie.
No, no, no.
A
I
not
agree,
nonsense movie even. It's not like
100%.
if it was a movie where like it was an old like Freddy Got Fingered or whatever and it was a Tom Green like just random shit, then you have a commercial that's just random shit. But it's like,
Okay.
oh, because we're tied to the new Jurassic World movie, we can just say meaningless things, not tautologies, not like just things that mean nothing. And
Yeah.
we spent a lot of money to make this commercial
Well,
that
yep.
says nothing.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. But I mean, lots of advertising's like that. So I'm not sure why you are selecting this one in particular to
Because
be
it is
upset at.
so, because like, advertisers say a lot of things that are like, but that's true of everyone, or, but that's an opinion, or, but that's not a thing I care about, or, but that's a fucking lie. Like, these I understand. But
Okay.
this one, they say this, and I'm like, but am I having a stroke? No commercial should cause anyone to have to pause for a second and say, am I having a stroke? And that's what happened to me, not just the first time. It's happened several times when I've watched that. I'm like, is it me? Because no one else is talking about this. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now. I'm pretty sure millions of people are dying and we're at war with like 3 countries. I don't know. As we all know, I don't keep track of it, but I know it's bad. We might be having a civil war. I'm not sure. But I feel like this is what we should be talking about. Okay. Because it's not right. And I feel like if we all paid attention, we could all get behind it. This could unify the planet where we could all be like this far and no further. Your claims not only have to make syntactical sense, which arguably this does, your claims have to form words that have some meaning. It doesn't have to be a good meaning, doesn't even have to be necessarily a true meaning, but it has to have meaning. And there's no meaning. In applause of crepes, every Jeep vehicle explodes when kissed by the blue fairy. So, in conclusion, don't ever buy a Jeep. They suck. Because of this specifically. I know nothing about the viability of the vehicles, but because of this advertisement, Jeep has forfeited all our monies. Don't any of you, if any of you buy it, you're banned from the podcast. If you have one right now, you can be grandfathered in unless you bought it after that commercial came out. But as long as none of you buy them since that commercial, we're good. If you buy one, you're banned from the podcast. Straight up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Magical Talking Hat podcast. The only podcast in the world that I realized recently is just a little improv play that William and I do for a small group of friends. And that honestly, I'm pretty good. I like that as a thing. We could do worse as 2 white guys with a podcast. Yep. I'm Tony.
And I'm William, and this is episode 748.
There was a recent McElroy Family Clubhouse where they were talking about fireworks, and Justin said, like, in his neighborhood, some people were like getting drunk and letting off fireworks, and it was like really late. So he came outside to be like, "Can you guys? I got kids going to sleep and stuff like that." And the guy was really mad, and he was like, no one in this neighborhood knows you. What are you, a podcaster? No one knows you. And that was his argument because he was drunk, whatever. But they were talking about it later, and he's like, he clearly knows me a little bit because he knows I'm a podcast. And then one of the brothers was like, no, you're a white guy. He just played the odds. And I was like, I swear. I love our podcast. I hate that we do a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I'm embarrassed to say, yes, hi, I'm a white guy and I do a podcast with another white guy. And then the one saving grace, they're like, what's it about? I'm like, nothing. We just felt as white men, our voice was not amplified enough.
Yeah.
And we're not even, technically speaking, we're not 2 white guys. I'm kind of queer. I'm like queer in the least interesting ways, but we're basically just 2 white guys doing a podcast, like every other 2 white guys doing a podcast.
Pretty much.
So it's for those of you just joining us, I'm guessing you're going to leave now. We have a hat. It is magic in that it has its own email address, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com. And people write into that email address. They haven't right now, but they do sometimes. And the hat magically, all on its own through the power of magic, and its Jurassic rated email, forwards those emails to us, and we read them, talk about them. That's the show, but really it's mostly me just ranting about commercials. It has been 2 weeks since I have spoken to you, barring the occasional text about mostly Jeeps. Okay, we have to be more strategic than usual.
Oh, okay.
We got a lot of shit to get through.
Okay.
Just the shit that I know you and I have to get through is huge, and I got a huge list beyond that. So, is there anything particularly unusual or interesting or that you think would not be covered in our normal sort of discussion that happened to you in this 2 weeks that you'd like to mention? Any fun 4th of July business or stuff like that? What I'm saying is don't talk about movies and shows because we're going to hit movies and shows.
Don't talk about movies and shows.
No, we're going to get to that outside of movies and shows. Yeah.
I mean,
that's our number. Welcome to the Magic Talking Podcast. We mostly just talk about movies and shows that we watched, but we'll get to that.
No, I don't. You know, the kids came over for 4th of July. That was when we went to fireworks for the first time in years. I haven't really bothered to go out to watch fireworks for a long time, but you know, kids wanted to go, so we did that. But that's about it. It was good actually. It was the weather wasn't too bad after the sun went down because it's been so hot, you know.
Oh yeah, and muggy.
Yeah. But no, they came over and we had a great 4th of July day, and then we went to the fireworks and stuff. So yeah, that was really good. Other than that, outside of movies and shows, not a lot, which is okay with me. I mean, I like to work. I like the work I'm doing. You know, doing some light stuff over the weekend. I'm perfectly happy with that. It's boring to everybody else, I know, but it's good for me. What about you?
Well, okay. Do you have any movies or shows other than the obvious one we're going to talk about?
Well, I saw Superman last night.
Oh, okay. Tell me about this.
I liked it.
I'm excited, and I'm never going to see it, so I got one to get from you.
I liked it a lot. It's not a perfect movie by any means. I have seen some. So one thing that we like to do after we watch a movie is like watch people's like YouTube reviews. We like watch YouTube reviews.
Yeah.
There was one person in particular who reviewed it and said exactly the same things I would have said. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want. I want that. I want people who felt that way about the movie to be like most of the people. That's what I would like to happen, because there are a lot of things I like about this film, and I'd like it to be successful because of those things. However,
who was the reviewer? What's the YouTube channel name?
I don't remember.
You suck.
I don't, because I don't watch this person regularly. I mean, I recognized him, but I don't watch him regularly. I know, you're right. I should have remembered. I guess I didn't really think about how I would talk about it in the podcast. But anyhow.
Well, you text me later because I want to know.
But there were plenty of people who didn't like it. And it was one of those things where you're like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yep. That's correct. Right? You agree with all of this stuff, but it didn't ruin it for you personally, or you don't agree with the person's opinion, but you totally understand it. Right?
Why somebody might have that opinion.
Oh yeah, like I totally get it. So
it's just been ages since you've really liked a superhero movie, and you fucking see like all of them. So especially DC.
I really, really did like it, but part of it is though, and I think it felt like a comic book movie. It felt like a DC comic book movie. It felt like a Superman comic book movie. Now, that's going to appeal to some people. Actually, probably a very small number of people.
That's also just 3 ways of saying Zack Snyder had nothing to do with this.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like, on one hand, people like me are going to be thrilled. On the other hand, some people are going to be like, nah, not my cup of tea. Totally fair. So then the question is there going to be enough people like me or adjacent who will like it enough for it to do really well? I don't know that. I hope it does well, but I won't, because of all those things, because I do feel like it's going to appeal to a narrow group of people. But I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes scores are good. So we'll see.
Well, and I mean, they'll make more and more and more, I'm sure. So, but also sometimes a movie can be awesome and then it can be done.
Well, I mean, if it
like a different movie we're going to talk about,
if it doesn't make enough money, they won't make a whole bunch more.
So. I know. And I'm like, and that's fine. You'll still have a good Superman movie.
That's true. That I'll like watching.
That's what I'm saying. There don't have to be sequels.
I know.
If you just enjoyed the movie.
I get it. I'd love for
But I understand wanting to see more. And also, like, if they finally got one right, it's like more of this. Please.
Mm-hmm. Please. Yep.
You don't want them to learn different lessons.
Right. Exactly right.
If it does poorly, they'll be like, clearly white men can't be protagonists.
That's good. Well, There, so Mr. Terrific was in this. Who's a superhero, happens to be black. Great. I have been a fan of Mr. Terrific for years and years and years in the comics and in other. He's been in some of the CW TV shows. Great, great. I mean, great to me. A very, very good film debut for Mr. Terrific. For most people who even didn't like the film very much thought that his introduction was really good.
Nice.
So I'm super, super happy about that. The guy playing him, oh, I always forget his name. He was in uh I can't remember the name of the TV show. For All Mankind. He's in that.
Okay.
He plays a billionaire who's trying to who is building rockets and stuff privately, kind of like an Elon Musk type character in For All Mankind. And he's super good in that. And he's just great in the film. Just great. And I hope people have been asking, are we going to have a movie with Mr. Terrific? And I'm like, oh my gosh, please do. Some people are saying, nah, probably more like a CW show like Penguin or something. I could live with that, but I think he is easily movie level quality. That would be such a cool film. So I hope they do it. But anyway,
fingers crossed.
I didn't mean to go off on that. Did you have something else to talk about?
All right. No, let's do our job. I mean, I have things, but they're gonna have to be very fast checklisted, I think, because we're gonna be busy here. So, finished Sherlock and Daughter.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. And I did it okay. As you know, I did not like it in the beginning, and I didn't like it for a while in the beginning. And there's a lot of stuff. By the end, I was like, all right. Not enough that I'm sure I will watch a second season, and not enough that I like. Part of me is like, if it doesn't get a second season, then I never have to decide. And it does wrap up for the most part as because it's a CW original, which means they just bought it off of a British and Irish co-production, and they're the ones who get to call it original in this country. But it means that it was made elsewhere where they actually know that each season should have a wrap up of the storyline.
Yeah.
And so it's very self-contained. And it all hinges on the two leads. I did not enjoy their dynamic for 80% of the series. By the end, I did, but they were just so obnoxious to each other. And we'll be fair. Right now, I hate everything. Brain chemistry issues. I'm adjusting my meds, whatever. So mostly everything is awful. But I'm so tired of we can stretch this out and create conflict by people just being crap.
Whoa.
Like every episode of Sherlock and Daughter is Sherlock tells Daughter to do something, Daughter doesn't do it, hijinks ensue. Sometimes hijinks are bad, sometimes hijinks end up being good, but that's basically the premise of the show. And it gets really old, and I love David Thewlis. He is one of my favorite actors out there these days. This is probably my least favorite portrayal of Sherlock Holmes that I've seen. Which is not to say it's terrible. And honestly, the breadth of Sherlock Holmeses I've seen, it's a small range. Nobody's that great and nobody's that terrible. Like it's gun to my head, I'm still probably a Jeremy Brett guy, ultimately. He was really good. But I've seen the Basil Rathbones and obviously your Cumberbatches and your Lee Millers and that kind of thing. But yeah, he's arrogant to the point of being stupid sometimes. And that's not Sherlock Holmes, in my opinion. Sherlock Holmes is extremely arrogant and so somewhat pompous in his way. But this guy, they wrote him to do it to a way that he then is very dumb in some of his choices. which feels as a character who has some tremendous flaws. To me, that's not one of them, and so I was annoyed by that. But I mean, it's well. Also, some of the villains are really, really bad, and they don't all necessarily get the same comeuppances in the same ways. And I find that I get it. I mean, it probably makes for a richer, more dynamic story, but I find it personally unfulfilling.
Oh,
I wanted worse things to happen to this person. I wanted less bad things to happen to this, but like that kind of deal.
okay.
Um, all I ever heard from you was that you liked it. Is that the sum of your review?
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. I feel the exact opposite to you as far as David. Is that how you pronounce his last name, Thewlis?
I believe so.
I'm sure I pronounced it wrong many times.
So you really liked this portrayal.
Oh yeah, yep. I don't disagree with some of your criticisms, but for some reason, I just I just liked when I wasn't always happy with how it was written. See, that's what I fault, the writing. But in terms of him being Sherlock Holmes and his portrayal and all that, I loved it. I thought it was really
I
good.
I will grant you, I think there's a very good chance with better writing, I would find him a phenomenal Sherlock. And he had some moments. And I will also say this sort of steps out of a lot of places that I see him. So it's kind of fun to see him stretch a little bit. But it honestly, it just hangs on the dynamic of those two leads. And I didn't feel any chemistry until maybe the last 2-3 episodes.
No, you're right about that for sure. Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that 100%.
and I don't know. I'm not sure it's a story I want. It's also, uh, I'm tired of woke television. I don't mean that the way I mean that. So, in the present day, here in 2020X, a television show like Sherlock and Daughter tries to do two things at once: present the political and social views of the time period with relative accuracy, but also interject a lot of modern politics because we can't have a 19th century heroic character still having 19th century opinions on things. So they spontaneously have to have 21st century opinions on things. And on top of this, what they're giving me is what they believe the modern wisdom is on political and social issues, which don't necessarily correspond to my view on political and social issues. So what you get is a real hodgepodge mess of people's. It makes for unrealistic characters that have these sort of outdated views mixed with these fairly progressive views. It has characters that have views that I'm like, there's absolutely no reason they would feel that way. And it has things that it's presenting as good or bad that I don't necessarily agree are good or bad. And all of those together annoy the shit out of me. And it happens in most modern period series. And I don't know what the answer is, because I also despise when people are like, well, we just had to do how it was historically accurate. I'm like, no, you did not. But like, you're clearly making so like the motivations of various villains and various heroes and how the show clearly thought I was supposed to feel about them got real muddled and pulled me out a few times. And I didn't enjoy that. But that is the thing that every modern period show kind of deals with, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I in a general sense, and this has always been true, often am bothered by that thing you just said a second ago, what the show clearly wanted me to think or feel or whatever. I've never liked that. I don't even care if I feel like my personal opinions align with whoever made it. I just don't like it. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
reason I don't like fictional material made by Christians for Christians. Don't like it.
Yeah.
I was raised Christian. I probably won't disagree with many things that are Christian about it, but I don't go to a movie to hear a sermon. I go to a movie to see a story. I feel a lot better about any movie where I can't really tell what the spiritual, political, cultural, whatever it is, views of the person is. But I know what they are of the characters. I know what they think,
Yes.
feel.
And that's ideal when you have a show or a movie where you have characters with very different perspectives and they are both given like a fair perspective on it. Like you're like this, they make a compelling argument for this side and they make a compelling argument for this side. And
Right. And then
now,
you get to pick a side yourself if you want. That's fine.
Trish used to refer to these as emotionally manipulative films. And she mostly went movies that are like not movies that make you cry, but movies that are trying to make you cry. And she would hate those. And I'm like, I get that. But this is, I mean, because the story's insane. The story has layers on layers and layers. And in fact, I can demonstrate that to only people who know by just saying the phrase, I am the red thread. Which is solidly one of the best jokes in the series. But there are layers on layers and everybody has different motivations and that's fascinating. But the show also makes no bones about whose side we're supposed to be on various issues in a way that makes me, I'm like, I don't like that and I don't agree with all of it. And also I think, so this is the good guy, but the good guy's doing this, which is very bad. Or like, yeah, it's a whole, and we're still, I don't know. Some of these motivations, I'm like, can we do new ones? I don't know. We don't have time for this. That was Sherlock and Daughter. It's good. I mean, I think most of my issues are my issues. I think if it had sounded at all good, you watch it. It's good. It's good. Whatever. Murderbot. We're about halfway through Murderbot.
Oh, okay.
Murderbot is a very good show.
I love it so much.
I recommend it to people very highly. I am not doing as well with it. But I know it's me. And it basically boils down to the book versus the show.
Oh, okay.
In general, this is a remarkably faithful adaptation, especially in its characters and its plot points and everything. It has done a lot of stuff because it's TV, and I forgive a lot of that, but I also don't like some of that. We have had to change characters in a way because we're also, the story's longer. The books are novellas. They are very short little deals. And this, what I still assume is doing the first novella as the first season.
Oh, okay.
And it's really, and I was like, some shit happened in episode 4 that I'm like, this is near the end. You're jumping ahead and stuff. And there's things they like to do that are visually interesting, and I get that. I do get annoyed in some places. Some motivations are with the character of Garathan. I hate what they've done to him. He's not kind of a creep the way he is, and I love David Desmalchian, and David Desmalchian plays this really well, but like, I don't like Garathan in the series right now, and I never felt that way in the book. And so I don't like that about it. But like, mostly it's just, for all that it is the same plot points and the same characters and is a pretty faithful adaptation, it's telling a very different kind of story. The shortest answer is it's an ensemble story, whereas the books are about Murderbot. And like, the books are entirely from Murderbot's perspective. There are no like separate things like that. And like, the characters are much more fleshed out and have much bigger arcs, and it's all very good stuff. And especially if you don't know the Murderbot books at all, go for it. Great. And even I admit it's a great story, but I'm like, I already knew this story and it was a different kind of story. And so I'm not enjoying that. Like, the stuff I got out of it originally isn't here because they're not telling the same thing. It's perfectly valid, but it's different. And I've already experienced this At least when it's like a way bad adaptation, you're like, this is just a different thing.
Mhm.
But this one is remarkably faithful, more than I kind of would have expected. And then just shit like I've talked about before. Murderbot is Alexander Skarsgård in this. Murderbot is gender neutral, and my Murderbot was female presenting
Wow.
in my head, and so it's very. I'm like, this isn't Murderbot. Murderbot's a girl, even though Murderbot's a not anything, and that's the point. Like, so that I had mentioned that when the trailers first came out, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a weird thing for me, and it is a weird thing for me. And yeah, the expansion of the characters means that the annoying parts of the characters, I'm like, those didn't exist in the book. I could do without those. The good parts also didn't exist, and I could, but I don't know. It's a very good show. If you, like me, read the Murderbot Diaries, or at least the first one, um, you might struggle with that. But it's otherwise, I mean, it's probably one of the best shows that's come out in a while. It's really good.
Yeah,
It just
we
doesn't
love
always
it.
work
We
for me.
love it.
All right, let's get to the meaty entree. Sinners is now on Max,
Mhm.
where everybody with Max can see it. And I texted William so he'd know, and he'd already seen it. Let's talk about it. What'd you think?
It's very well crafted, very well made. I mean, there's from a technical film craft standpoint, there's no notes as far as I'm concerned. Very, very good. Uh, I from a sort of a storytelling standpoint, like, you know, the power of the story, especially as a metaphor, excellent, just really good. All the performances were good. I mean, I feel like you know, you mentioned it's a vampire story. That's not something everybody knew going into it. My wife didn't know. I didn't know until you mentioned
Really?
that. I didn't know till you mentioned it, actually.
I'm so sorry. I thought that was one that the companies had all the trailers and everything. I thought that was one that they had shittily told everybody.
And probably had. I had just didn't know.
Spoilers, everybody. Sorry.
No. It's probably just me. And
Weirdly, it's
Abby didn't know.
mostly not a vampire movie.
That's
Like, it
true.
only becomes one. Like, a lot of the movie is just Jim Crow era period piece.
No, but I feel like they're that vampirism is a sort of a metaphor for uh um you know, a cultural loss, cultural appropriation, cultural, you know, uh
Yeah, see,
because,
this is fun. Trish and I have spent a lot of time discussing all the possible things that vampires mean in this movie, because
mhm.
you can interpret it a fascinating number of ways,
I,
including sort of several at once.
I agreed.
It's a master stroke decision that I'm still sort of unpicking.
Yeah,
I think because vampires are always metaphors for something, but like this
agreed.
one
Agreed.
really, it feels like they sort of crafted it to be the metaphor for the, like, they made the story, and then they're like, let's take the concept of vampires and sculpt it in a very specific way so that it slots into our story perfectly, and they did. And I don't recall anybody ever really doing that before.
Yeah. But not in a way that, like we've been talking about, not in a way that tells you what to think or preaches at you. It's just a way that gets your thinking about it, like, huh, okay, that's interesting. um it doesn't even tell you, it doesn't even say, okay, you have to think this is good or you have to think this is bad. It just says, look at this. Consider this for a second, and then you get to
There,
decide yourself what it means.
I mean, in the basic plot structure, there are heroes and villains, but this movie largely does not give you an opinion
I don't think so.
on anything,
Nope, I don't think
because
so at all.
everyone in the movie has done some bad shit and is very sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone on every side. Well, okay.
Except
There
some
are some
certain very,
KKK members.
yeah, Those people
They're not
specifically, right?
really they're not really characters. They're KKK objects,
Yeah.
and they are not given any sort of sympathy.
No, no,
We're
no.
not. We have an opinion about the KKK,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yes.
okay with that opinion.
Right.
But all the
That's
like characters that are really central to the story and everything, like
yes. And there's and even you're right. The KKK, like Nazis in movies and everything else, they're put in a very specific box that I don't think anyone minds that they're put in that box.
well, and they're part of the setting. Especially in this one, they aren't characters. It's
No.
part of the setting is the KKK is around and they do shit, and that's just part of the world. It's not. There aren't people. I mean, technically, there's like one KKK person who we know who they are, but
But
they aren't a real character. They're a little side thing. They're a cameo.
right. But the other characters outside of that are not morally exemplary or there's lots of moral ambiguity
faceless.
there. Yeah. They're complex, fleshed out. So yeah, and there's a lot of things that happen that I mean, I think also the aside from the normal KKK is bad, I think vampirism is supposed to be seen as bad.
Vampirism, maybe.
Yeah.
But I will say this: vampirism is shown to have there's bad parts to vampirism, definitely, unsurprisingly. The argument for vampirism in this movie is a more compelling and convincing argument to me than any other I've seen.
Okay. Fair.
I'm not saying it made me want to be a vampire. I'm saying it made me understand why one would want to be a vampire
fair.
more than any other, and not in a power trip way. Not
right.
Yeah, you can rule. Just like as a way life would potentially be better this way. It made the more persuasive argument than I've ever seen.
Okay.
I would say in general
100%
it falls anti-vampire, but just barely. I mean, it shows both sides in an interesting and sympathetic way.
I would say that's a fair.
Even to the degree
assessment.
there's a couple of post credits, but there's a specific post credit scene that is the real ending of the movie. You absolutely need to watch it. And even then, like, the characters have made decisions and do make decisions. The movie doesn't really seem to have an opinion about which one's right.
Agreed.
And I love that about it.
Yep, me too. It's totally worth seeing if you like horror and generally, but if you are a fan of vampire fiction like I am, I mean, maybe some people don't think I am because I won't just watch any old vampire thing or like any old vampire thing. I like good vampire fiction.
Yeah.
This is good vampire fiction. 100%.
As opposed to superheroes where he'll watch any old thing and he'll like any old thing.
Pretty much, yeah. Especially if it's DC.
Yeah.
But vampire stuff, I'm pretty picky.
And if you like folk music, of both the
oh my gosh,
American South and Irish, it's really kind of a music they talked about, like it's sort of a stealth musical. It is. It's all diegetic, more or less, but it's a music, like there's choreographed musical numbers and shit, and it works within the story.
Good music.
And yeah, great music
across the board. Good music across the board.
Phenomenal cast of both people you know and people you don't know, but mostly people you know.
Yeah, really good acting, man. Super
Michael
good.
B. Jordan's a powerhouse. I hope his career lasts a long time.
Very good.
I mean, he does dumb stuff too, but everybody does. But when he's on, and he plays two parts in this, and he's on in both of them.
Yep, excellent, excellent work.
Haley Steinfeld, who I never thought was a bad actress, but and still feels weird here, but I think it's because I still think of her as 16 in my head, sort of. It's like Ariana Grande. It's like she's grown up now, but I don't think of her that way. So it felt a little out of place at first, but she was phenomenal. Delroy Lindo, of course, remarkable. The head vampire, he's a guy that people are knowing. He's a white dude, so I don't remember very well, but he's a known actor that everybody's really digging on. It's a solid time.
Yeah, recommended. I totally recommend it. Very good.
and it's over on Max. So go check it out if you have
I,
Max.
I just want to slip this in here. We also saw Wicked, but maybe that doesn't matter. We also saw
Oh,
that.
you should have brought that up sooner.
I know. I can't believe I forgot.
I genuinely have no idea what you're going to say about it. What'd you think?
We liked it.
Wait, let's back up. Let's back up. Read the original book?
No,
Seen the musical?
no,
Familiar with the music from the musical?
no.
Okay, go. You liked it. All right.
We liked it so much that right after we were done watching it, we kind of watched it early in the evening, and we were like, "What should we do now?" We just watched it again.
All right. Now,
We really liked it a lot.
now you say we.
Abby and I, yeah.
Really we?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, not just Abby.
No,
All right, all right. Well, I'm
no.
just checking. If Abby really loved something and wanted to watch it after dinner a second time, you'd probably go along if you thought it was okay.
No,
So
you're
I just want
correct.
to be sure.
No,
And
that's
also, I seem to remember you are not a fan of musicals as a rule.
not as a rule.
Yeah.
But in fact, it was my idea for us to watch it again, although she was down for it because between us, I'm sure she did like it more than I did. I presume she did. I mean, what do I mean by that? I
It's
mean,
more her thing at Jump.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's more her thing, right? So I think that she was thinking she'd like to just watch that again, and but I'm the one that suggested it because I was also in favor of watching it again. But I did like it on my own terms.
Yeah,
Like if I'd watched it by myself, I would have watched it again. I
yeah.
would have watched it twice. But I do think if there was a way to objectively measure, she liked it more, loved it. It
Yeah.
was
No,
totally her
mostly
thing.
I just wanted to make sure that when you said we, it was a solid we.
Solid. I
Um
if tonight she said, "Hey, can we watch this again?" I'd watch it.
I
Because
mean,
we
the
just thought it was
music
that good.
slaps. The music has always slapped. That's the rest of us have known that for ages. Um, but some just shocking performances, and I really think it is the best example I've ever seen of how to take a stage musical and make it a movie. It really did the things a movie can do and didn't take away from the things a stage can do.
Yeah,
It really sort of nailed that position in a way I've never seen done.
yeah, it was good. It was very, very
Wasn't
good.
Ariana Grande just a fucking shock? I
Uh,
would not have guessed. I mean, not that I had any evidence she was a bad actress, but I would never. She stole the movie.
well, okay, so I've heard that said, but because I didn't really know her, and I mean, I had zero expectations except people saying what you just said. So I was
It's.
like fine with
I'm
it. I
trying to
didn't.
think of an equivalent for you. It's like if Britney Spears had been cast in that part.
Mm,
Like
mm.
we all know her as a pop star, and
Oh, sure.
a popular teen who did some dumb stuff in her youth, and who also was engaged to Pete Davidson. Like she hasn't done a
Mm.
lot of acting.
I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. She for good or for bad, and I think definitely for bad, has a reputation as just sort of a vapid bubblegum pop star.
Well, I
Um,
felt like her performance had remarkable subtlety in it, all things considered. And, accidentally, I have no idea. It's a lucky,
I no, I don't
beginner's
think it
luck.
could be because I saw Kristen Chenoweth perform this role on stage.
Oh, you did. Wow.
Yeah, we saw this in Chicago years ago
Yeah, but
on stage.
I didn't know you saw her in it.
I did. It wasn't Adina Menzel, which I'm actually glad about because it was Anna Gasteyer, who I'm a huge fan of, and she did a phenomenal job.
Hmm.
But it was Kristen Chenoweth. It feels very uncomfortable. Ariana might have done it better. She did it
Wow.
different. She did it different. She might have done it better. She brought a phenomenal depth and nuance to a character that seems very straightforward. Like in it, if you're describing the character of Glinda, she feels very tropey in
Mhm.
a description, but there was so much nuance, which is good because overall the story is about the dynamism of those two characters.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but she just brought such a believable three-dimensional quality to it,
So
and
that's
I
what
mean,
I thought so too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. People don't think of her being like that, so they're like, "How can you portray someone like that?" But that's not fair. I
Well,
know a lot of
they
dumb as shit
also
actors who are really good.
they also might not think of the character in the musical that way. Like she's supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
really
yeah.
superficial and whatever, but the pathos was pretty evident to me. And I thought, wow, this is pretty extraordinary. I mean, I somehow, even though, like you said, I didn't come to it knowing anything, but
Hmm.
somehow I knew that this was a character that could have been played far more one dimensionally in one note. And I didn't think she was. And I
And
thought,
Kristen
that's pretty
Chenoweth
good.
didn't do that. Or Kristen Chenoweth has done an amazing
Oh, no,
example
no, no. I'm
of,
sure she
of
has. I
like,
love
and
her.
she,
I
and
love
there's
her.
no question. Well, supposedly both Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, independently, not knowing each other, but especially Ariana Grande because she had the money and influence to do this. As soon as it was announced this movie was going to happen, she started working on trying to get this part,
Mm.
including doing, she's a phenomenal vocalist, always has been, but she did more specific training for this part because this was like her, this was her Phantom. When I was a kid, we were all listening to Phantom and Les Mis and we're theater kids. She was a theater kid and Wicked was hers, and so she
Mm.
really wanted this. And apparently Cynthia Erivo, similar deal.
Mm.
um this is the highest compliment I can pay this movie. I think it is arguably Michelle Yeoh who gives the weakest performance, and she gives a great performance.
Yeah, yeah. That that puts everybody up on a pretty high
Yeah,
bar.
she is amazing. But like this movie is so good, I think she might, with the exception of Jeff Goldblum, who shows up for 30 seconds to just Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what
but
I
to be
thought
fair,
too.
it's
Oh,
one
this
of
is
these where I'm like, he'll be in the second one more. He'll definitely be in the second one more. But it's like the Alita Battle Angel where you've got what's his name, the Incredible Hulk, Ed Norton, in like just to look through binoculars at somebody. It's like, yeah, because in the next movie he's gonna be a big thing. It's like that. Jeff Goldblum's there. He's like, hey, apartments.com, and then he's gone. Like,
apartments.com.
uh, but he's the wizard, so he'll be back. There'll be more Jeff Goldblum involved. Uh, but yeah, that's the well, and again, also that may be because she played the character differently than the musical, and I think I like the musical version of it a little bit better. And in no way should she be is she bad, but I think that's how good it is. I think she's the bottom of it. And they every movie version of a musical is like, fuck stage play. This is a movie now. We're gonna sing, but it's a movie. Everything is movie like. Musical numbers are done in your face. This one was like, you know what? There's some cool choreography and dancing and some really elaborate set pieces built into the musicals, and that's a huge part of what makes it fun. Let's do some of that, but let's film it fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
It
You're
is
right.
so well shot. It is
Yeah, it is.
insane how well shot and well edited, and oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. It's fun to watch on every single level, really.
Their Fiero is great, and as I said before, I'm getting this in a lot of things now. I am happy to be living in the era of late millennial, early Gen Z film and TV making, where shit like sexuality is a much more sort of diverse, but also like only a thing when it needs to be. Like we don't, I don't know. There was so much interesting sort of homoeroticism between characters that in no way was meant to imply they were gay or anything, but just a, and this is a thing that happens in the real world, and like it just feels more comfortable, and we don't have to do like, oh, that one person like that, but it doesn't work because they're a guy. Like it just, I don't know. It all feel like I watch things now, and they're like teen coming of age things or whatever, and there's no assumption of heterosexuality, and there's just, I don't know, there's just vibes to it that just feel much more comfortable in a way that I really like. It sounds silly when I say it out loud, but like the movie, that's the best I can say. The movie is tastefully bisexual in a way that I enjoy, and there's nobody's explicitly together really in the movie, but it just feels that.
Well, and my observation has been since it came out, it it has broad appeal. In spite of what you just said, there's a lot of people who are openly, right wing or whatever, like, oh, we love this. Everybody should watch it. So it's like,
And
okay.
that's my favorite, when you've got progressivism in a movie, but it's done in a way that if you don't believe in it, you won't notice. Because then we can all enjoy it.
Well, I
I don't think
mean,
the right wing people enjoy it despite those things. I think the right wing people just don't notice those things.
I have no.
Because again, it's not, nobody's explicitly gay or anything in it. It's just everybody's just sort of vibing.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose that's right. Um, I mean,
And maybe it'll help that nobody came out in press releases saying, and we have an explicitly gay character, which then turned out not to be true. To pick an example at random that might have occurred in a different movie.
yeah, I don't know what people are thinking or not thinking. I just know it has broad appeal, and I think I'm happy when that happens because I hate all the hate and polarization. I just can't stand it. And
Yeah.
so when people from across any kind of whatever the spectrum is, I have the political spectrum, any kind of spectrum, and they like it, I just feel like that's a good cultural touchstone. I think that's nice, but
I don't care where your political leanings are. We as a people, and I don't just mean Americans, I'm not even sure I just mean the West, I might mean sort of all of humanity, can agree we should not enslave animals that can talk. And that's the universal message of Wicked that brings us all together.
brings us all together. Like John Wick. Every everybody agrees that you shouldn't kill the dog. Everybody agrees. Doesn't
Yep.
matter what walk of life, political, what country, everyone agrees. What, they killed the dog? Oh yeah, killed all those
Yeah.
guys.
They killed his wife. I mean, man,
Yeah, that happened.
revenge just make eye for
No,
an eye makes the whole world. They killed his dog. Fuck everyone they ever knew. Find out where they're from and burn that town to the ground.
yeah, everybody agrees with that.
It's also why I only liked the first John Wick. No, because no puppies died. I mean, maybe that's not how I should say it. But essentially.
Yeah. It's
Well,
nice when you can find something everyone agrees on.
I am really pleased that you enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, it's nice that you can find something everybody agrees on that you also agree on. Like, I've had some where like everybody in the world loves this movie and I do not love this movie,
No,
and that
sure.
feels weird. But it's really nice when I'm like, I think this is really good, and the world is like, we agree.
Unfortunately, we rented it, or
Okay.
else we probably would have watched it 3 or 4 times by now because you only get to watch it. There's only a
If
2-day
you
window.
if you had Peacock, you could watch it.
No, I
all
know.
you wanted.
But we'll, I mean, if we can get like a Blu-ray of it, that's probably what we'll do.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
can
yeah.
just stick it in there and watch it anytime, and we'll never lose it. We're not like a digital
Now,
copy.
I am certainly not saying don't watch the second one, and I'm certainly going to watch the second one. But
Oh
as
yeah,
I've
we'll
said before, there are reasons. Either the second one cannot be the same kind of movie,
Oh.
or the second one is going to suck because they tried to make it the same kind of movie. It's Wicked is very much an act one, act two, like Into the Woods. Like shit turns in the second act. And it's not, as I said at the time, and I mean this as an absolute compliment, Wicked is like Harry Potter meets High School Musical in the best way. The second half cannot be that. They are not at school anymore. It's not that thing. So just because this one was awesome does not mean the next one won't necessarily suck.
But
And
I
even
might
if
heard
it
this
is
from
good, it
people.
just might be very different. Again, gonna see. I just want us all to be prepared emotionally. I still think we should check it out, and I'm going to
Mm.
probably with the family again. We'll probably do it because it's almost going to be exactly a year, so it'll be a holiday season. So we'll probably go to the theater and watch it, and that'll be awesome. Um, but we just all need to prepare ourselves in our hearts that it could they could fuck this one up, or it just may be a very different kind of movie that doesn't necessarily resonate with you as much. I'm kind of prepared for that thing. I think it's still going to be good, but it just won't hit me as well as the second half of that musical is sort of. But it also has some really good music in it. It's also where it has fewer songs, so they're going to put more original songs in there, and that makes me nervous. I don't know that there was a single original song in the first one, but yeah. So we just got to watch out. But yeah, it was great, and I'm really glad that you liked it.
I think our attitude is we'd be very disappointed if it was the same kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's good plot wise, for stakes wise, all of it. It has to be a different kind of thing. We want
It's
it to
it's
be.
it's a it's the part of it where they're kids, and the next part is when they're grown-ups, and
No, no,
it very much is in that kind of vein.
yeah, it's got to be
I think
different.
there's a pretty big time jump, and
Yeah, we're here for it because we want to see what happens with these characters in a completely different kind of situation, setting, whatever.
yeah.
So we look forward to it being different. But like you said, that gives a lot of room for it to maybe not be as good,
Yeah.
or maybe it'll be just fine, but we won't like it. That's true. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be difficult for it to disappoint when we just want to know. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and anyhow,
Some
this
of us already know.
yeah, right. But also, it's it's in a world that we are familiar with, right? I mean, it's of course slightly different, but we've seen the
Well, and deeper. It
yeah,
gives you
yeah,
a lot of Oz lore in a kind of cool way.
yeah, yeah. We've
Um,
seen the 1939 film. I've read all of the books that Baum wrote. I've got my own ideas of how I would tell an Oz story. So it one of the reasons I like watching it actually is because the art design is so good. I feel transported to Oz and I like being there, honestly.
the sets are
Yeah,
incredible. It's
I, I I like being there. And so that's part of it. And so going back to Oz is going to be fun by itself, no
yeah.
matter what the story, what's going on in the story.
Um, and I should just a disclaimer for everybody again. The book Wicked, very different. Most of the plot beats are the same, but it is a dark and gritty, and
Yeah.
for a lot of people, unpleasant book.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it, but it's one of those that, like, I enjoyed it, I will never reread it,
Yeah, right.
and it's a different thing. Like, I I do not. My enjoyment of it has nothing to do with my enjoyment of the musical because they are so different in so
Right.
many ways.
Right, right.
Which is not to say you shouldn't, but just like if you're like, oh, I like this, let me read the novelization. No, 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 very, very different.
Yeah.
All right. Jeez. All right. I gotta jump through. Well, okay, we gotta talk about the first one. I finished Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Oh, you finished it. Okay.
You know this. I texted you about this. Or are we playing for the podcast? Remember, I told you we were going to sit down in a Perkins and I was going to tell you the entire plot for 2 hours so that then I could bitch about them.
Right,
Thing?
right. And I need
Yeah.
to go play it. You said that's right.
Yes, because I need to talk to somebody about it who's played the whole thing.
Okay.
And what sucks is I'm going to be spending a week at the beach with someone who started playing it before I did, but I don't think they're going to be done with it by then, and I'm unhappy about that. But it's automatic, but it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Amazing game. On a variety of levels. Amazing game visually, amazing game mechanically, amazing game story wise, unbelievable. You have to seek out a lot of the story, and some of it I just couldn't. And like even now, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot that was like there were people named that like we never found out who they were, and I'm like, what the fuck? So like, I'm gonna dig on the wikis a bit and see because I don't think I can sort of replay it at least not anytime soon, because it's also emotionally harrowing. Always was from the beginning. I have not gone back to the wikis because I'm still dealing with this. The biggest part of which I'm dealing with is there are two endings. There is a decision, a binary decision that is made by you near the end, and one leads to one ending and one leads to another. And I chose one and watched the ending, and then I immediately went and looked up what the other ending was and found a video and watched all the second ending. There is no specification of good or bad ending. I feel, as do a lot of people, one ending is sort of coded as the better ending, the good ending, at least the healthier ending, I guess, is a thing. I didn't pick that one. And I disagree with the game about that.
Okay.
Not what I picked, but like, so you pick a thing and then it happens, and then you get an epilogue that tells you the end results. And I disagree with what it had to say about the end results in a certain way. And it goes down to the same thing that this game, even more than a lot of them, is all a big metaphor. And metaphorically, this all makes sense. But when you look at it as a game involving people in a world where magic exists and yada yada, I 100% do not agree. Like, it's like metaphorically, this is the healthier decision to make. I'm like, yeah, because magic spells aren't real for it's the same thing where, like, in a video game where your characters die and you revive them, but then there's a cutscene and somebody dies and you can't stop it, and you can't bring them back. It feels like that to me. And so it's a little dissonant and it bothers me a little bit in that sense. But again, as a metaphor, it makes total sense and it's gorgeous and it's just an amazing game. So recommend that. All right. I've also been playing some more. I played a little game called Mythwrecked, which was kind of just sort of a visual novel where you're on an island, you get shipwrecked on an island, and it okay, you need to get
down. Hold on. So you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you.
Okay, I asked several times if you could hear me and heard nothing back. So
okay, because I didn't hear you, I guess then.
Yeah.
Is this still recording?
Yeah.
That's gonna look funny.
Okay. Well, this is broken. My cat rubbed up against the damn camera and then ruined everything.
And then you just
like,
yeah, you just
refresh your browser to fix it. And I'm like, if I refresh my browser, I'm gonna kill the whole thing.
Yeah, you disappeared, no sound or anything. You cut off just as you were about to talk about that game, and then.
All right. Well, we're not gonna see me for the rest of this.
Okay.
So I played a game called Mythwrecked. It's a little sort of visual novel game where you crash land on an island and it's populated by 8 Greek gods, but none of them remember that they're Greek gods or who they are, and you have to do things to like help their memory and save the magic tree and whatever. And it's mostly just a game about healthy ways to deal with issues and relationships and stuff like that. Like, it's a very like modern progressive sort of mental health game in a lot of ways. But it's a fun, it's one of those sort of not puzzly exactly, but you do this thing and then you can unlock this and then you have to go find this and that kind of thing. And it's probably like 10 hours. It was all right. It's fine. I've been trying a lot of games and most of them haven't worked. There's a game called The Altars that might be worth checking out. It's one of those that is not popped off really huge, but like all of my YouTube people about video games are like, this game is amazing. You know, and are like telling each other and they're doing it and they're like, it's true, it is. And it is a game about a guy who is on some sort of deep space like mining exploration thing, and the ship crashes on a planet and everybody's dead except him. And it's one of those where the planet is such that like when the sun comes up it'll like burn you to death or whatever, and he's in the mobile base, but he's just one dude and he's not a very educated, he's like a generic laborer basically. And so due to science technology thingies, he is forced to create altered clones of himself that are better at certain things, and then together they can make it go and like save themselves. But and it's a really cool thing, and the gameplay is very cool. The gameplay loop is very cool. It looks very neat. What I was not prepared for is they are treating it fairly seriously. I only made one altar, and he was like really mad that like he's like, so I'm a tool. Like, you built me to fix your problem, and you're the human, and I'm not. And like, then I had to like show him, like, we had to start talking about the parts of our lives that were the same, and like, and really, and that's part of the game. Like, you have to keep the clones happy and all this stuff, and like, and they're doing it fairly seriously. And I was like, this is awesome. I do not have the emotional bandwidth for this right now. So, seems like a phenomenal game. Highly recommend. I was not in a place to cope with it. A correction for long-term listeners, possibly. I don't know. So I've told you about Coke Zero.
Yes.
And how it's Coke Classic Diet as opposed to Diet Coke, which was New Coke Diet.
Yeah, that's what
well,
you said.
According to Weird History Food, I'm totally wrong.
Oh, okay.
Apparently Diet Coke came out having nothing to do with New Coke, and it was made to taste more like Tab, which was Coke's diet soda at the time, and which I always claimed Coke Zero tastes like, but apparently I'm remembering wrong. It's another Mandela effect for one here. And so it was, Diet Coke was created having nothing to do with New Coke, but made not to taste like Coke. And now Coke Zero is made to taste like Coke. Also, in the process of learning this, I learned that the caffeine content in sodas apparently comes with the sweetener that they use. Because Coke Zero and Diet Coke use two different sweeteners, and apparently that is what has determined their caffeine intake. I'm still making gestures like I do in the podcast all the time, but now no one can see them. So anyway, retraction on that, assuming Weird History Food is right. I don't remember my original source. So all right, wow. And then also I saw 6 movies. Sorry. Technically I saw 7 movies. I will try and speedrun this. It's going to be hard. All right. In the Lost Lands. In the Lost Lands, from the director of those dumb Resident Evil movies, who's married to the lead in those dumb Resident Evil movies, comes a dumb Resident Evil style movie with that woman as the lead. Except this one is based off of a very old George R.R. Martin short story.
Okay.
It's post-apocalyptic. It is Mila Jovovich and Dave Bautista going through the post-apocalyptic wilds, trying to find out how to become a werewolf. I'd like to say it makes more sense in context. It does not really. I highly recommend this movie as one of the most hilariously bad things I've seen in a long time. Entirely unintentional, but just phenomenally hilariously dumb. Also some good action scenes, but every bit of dialogue, every element of plot is the most laugh out loud ridiculous thing ever. So if you want that kind of vibe, check that out. All right. Then we did a little trip through Mel Brooks land. We watched Blazing Saddles again.
Oh,
When's the last time you saw Blazing Saddles?
I don't know. I might have been in college the last time I saw it.
Did you like it?
Well, it's complicated. Blazing Saddles, when I first saw it, was on television with a whole bunch of stuff edited out.
Oh, yeah, that would have been like half the movie.
Yeah, without realizing that. So then when I saw it in college and it had all that stuff added in, I did not like those parts. I ended up feeling like I didn't like the movie. Then later, kind of adjusting my expectations, and of course realizing what I saw was the real version of the movie, not the edited for TV version of the movie, and I appreciated it more as it's whatever its original thing. I'm still not sure I'd say I liked it.
All right.
But I wasn't deeply offended by it like I was the first time I saw the whole thing.
And it's yeah, that's the thing. It's very intentional. What people forget is it was co-written Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
And you can when you know that, you can see that in the movie. And in fact, he was supposed to play the lead, but this was post setting himself on fire and everything. So insurance would literally not insure him. So that's when they had to bring in Cleavon Little, who was phenomenal. And I'm so sad he died before he could do more stuff. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Man, it has a lot of slurs in it. And not just the N-word. It's got a ton. And like that's sort of the point, but it is very jarring. Also the entire thing with Mongo. Alex Karras is better than this. I'm used to the racism. I'm used to the homophobia, the whole R word stuff. I'm still like, I don't know why that one just makes me feel strange. But that being said, the performance by Alex Karras has some fun lines in it. He's got some cool lines, but in general, the whole premise for that is kind of awful. But outside that, it's really solid. Gene Wilder's amazing, and Gene Wilder and Cleavon Little have an incredible chemistry. Madeline Kahn is amazing, although, oh crap, did you freeze up?
No.
All right, you just were really still. Madeline Kahn is phenomenal. I'm dealing with this right now in other places. I don't enjoy, and I'm surprised it has lasted as long as it had, the idea this person has a speech impediment, isn't it funny? Like, no, it's not. You're literally just doing the funny foreign accent bit, but instead it's a person's physical malady. Or occasionally, I guess, psychological malady. But like, that's never been funny, and it's not funny now, and it still happens now. That's still a thing in movies and shit, and I don't enjoy that. So I love Madeline Kahn, but I hate that she had to sound like Jonathan Ross for no reason. Her musical number also amazing, but mostly just I was really impressed with Gene Wilder more than I remembered. He's phenomenal.
I quote this movie a lot.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's one particular thing I say fairly frequently.
Is it Are We Awake?
No.
That's the one I love is Are We Awake? That depends. Are we black? We are. Then we're awake, but we're very puzzled.
No, I often will ask a person, what if X? Will that pep you up some? I often say that. And
you are also telling me to stop calling you Hedy Lamarr. You're like, it's Headley.
And I'm embarrassed about what's said right before that in the movie.
Yeah.
But I say it all the time. I say, what if X, whatever the thing is, will that pep you up some? I say that a lot. A lot.
I think it's my favorite Mel Brooks movie. It's got some issues that have not aged well, and I have weird feelings with Mel Brooks in general, but I think it's good. Then shortly after we watched Men in Tights, because Trish had never seen Men in Tights. It holds up pretty okay. It also has some poorly dated stuff, and it is very much of its time. It is 90s as hell. And it's mostly funny if you know Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Like a lot of it is specifically going after that movie. And that movie sucked. And I loved this movie because that other movie sucked. And also I had a thing about Roger Rees at the time. I've always had a thing about Cary Elwes. I didn't know Dave Chappelle enough to be bothered. It's got a pretty fun cast. Cary Elwes is a masterstroke. He is just right as the sort of straight man to the entire rest of the movie in a brilliant way. But it is very juvenile. It is very 90s, and it's not as good as Blazing Saddles or, well, I don't know. There's a lot of other Mel Brooks movies I do not care for, so it's hard to say. But yeah, so that was our little run there. All right. We watched The Old Guard 2.
Oh, is that out? Huh.
It is. And we knew this because we saw a trailer for The Old Guard 2. And in the trailer, we were like, I don't know what they're talking about. None of this has stuck with me. And so what we actually did was in the same night, we watched The Old Guard, and then we watched The Old Guard 2 right afterward. The Old Guard holds up in the forgettably decent way it did the first time.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie. It's got some good action, interesting idea. We forgot about it the next day. That's kind of the same thing. The second one is actually, no. Okay. This is how I explained it at the time. I think this is the best way to explain it. My opinions on The Old Guard versus The Old Guard 2 are exactly the same as my opinion on the movie Pitch Perfect and the movie Pitch Perfect 2. Pitch Perfect 2, well, okay. The Old Guard 2 is The Old Guard, but we got it way more complicated. We added in a lot more lore that actually makes things way less cool. We added in a whole bunch of new characters. We brought back every single old character, and we didn't try nearly as hard from a production level. I was really surprised. I assume it has a bigger budget, but this one, production-wise, was way worse. And I don't know what that's about. It also really had to come up with people doing nonsensical, dumb things to make the plot continue. Apparently, the whole thing's based on a series of comics, which I was not aware of. So I don't know if this is a poor adaptation of those comics or if those comics are just kind of stupid. But it's one of those. Also, and this is the most important, it Spider-Verses in the second one. So The Old Guard 2 is the first half of a very long movie. Like, it ends with, here's the villain, and here's the villain's plan, and now the villain leaves. We're going to go get that villain. End credits.
Oh, okay.
Very much spoilers for the end of the second Spider-Verse movie. Same bullshit. So maybe wait if you want to watch it, but it's fine. I mean, if you like The Old Guard, it's largely more of that. Not quite as good, but it's fine. We watched Freaky Tales. Freaky Tales is a horror movie that recently has come out. I guess horror is probably the best way to put it. It is one of those, it's not an anthology, but it's interconnected stories. So, like, you see scenes in the background that are a different story and shit like that.
Sure.
It has a lot of good names in it. Pedro Pascal is probably the one that jumps out the most. But Ben Mendelsohn is in it. Tom Hanks has a relatively small part in it. There's a few good people in it. It was done by a man and a woman who did the Captain Marvel movies. Both of the Captain Marvel movies done by these people. And the base premise is it's 1987 and things are happening in Oakland. The shit you would expect to happen in Oakland in 1987. The difference being there's been weird green lightning and it maybe does magic shit periodically that influences the outcomes of these things. So there's like a plot line of some punks who have a club, but every night some skinheads get drunk and try and like fuck them up, and so they have to deal with that. There's another one of a guy who's an enforcer in a criminal syndicate who is trying to get out, that classic story. I forget what the third one is. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't get it. What it felt like to me was, and it's really meant to like shine 80s Oakland is like a lot of shit happened there, and this is a big deal. And the movie involves two actual real life people, Too Short, the hip hop star, and Sleepy Floyd, who was a basketball star for the Golden State Warriors. And actually, I believe it takes place during an actual real life game where he like kicked ass in a basketball game. In any event, he kicks ass in a basketball game. But what's funny is both of those characters are in the movie, played by actors. Both of those real life people are also in the movie playing other characters because, of course, they're like 40 years older than they would have been at the time. So that's kind of fun. I like that. But in general, it feels like a Spike Lee, or more accurately, a Bootsy Collins sort of movie. It feels like if two white people wrote and directed Sorry to Bother You. I'm like, I get what you were going for, and your heart was in the right place. But I'm not sure you're the people to do this. And I don't know that anyone in the world agrees with me. And I don't know how this movie has been received, but that's how I felt. I'm just like, It felt like I think I feel what you were trying to do, and I think you failed horribly. At least you failed me horribly on this part. Then we watched Cooley High. You ever seen Cooley High?
Nope.
Cooley High is a 1975 coming of age tale set in Southside Chicago. It is set in 1962 Southside Chicago. It is apparently loosely based on the actual high school age experiences that the writer of it had. The reason it drew my attention, first of all, it is apparently considered a very seminal work of black cinema.
Oh.
And a lot of things came out, and I see now, and it was one of those that really seemed to deal with some of the realities of the black experience in this country in a way that movies weren't doing at that point. And I see that, and I give it credit for that. The main reason I was interested is one of the main characters is playing a 17-year-old boy is played by 27-year-old Glynn Turman. And if anybody knows me, they know I love Glynn Turman so much. And I've never seen him play anybody young. And so that was fun. It's fine. There's a lot of young people getting up to mischief that I'm like, that mischief is fucked up and illegal and terrible. Like, maybe that's a me thing again. By the way, the copy that we had to watch, the sound quality is atrocious, and there were no English captions, only French. So that was rough at time trying to get the note, but it was interesting. I guess I mean it's worth it academically. It's an okay movie. We had an okay time with it, but it's a missable one unless you're interested in sort of seeing early influences on black cinema. Um, it is most notable in that it was something of a success at the time, and so they tried to turn it into a TV show, and it wasn't working. And so, because it's a very dramatic movie, and like serious shit happens in it. So they retooled it as a sitcom, and it eventually turned into the very successful sitcom What's Happening.
Oh, I remember What's Happening.
Yeah, you won't remember it from this movie. Ostensibly, it's several of the main characters who go on after high school are like the
Oh,
central characters to What's Happening. I don't believe so, but it's kind of funny that's its legacy. All right, I managed to get through all of my shit, and we're only a half hour over. Shall we do our side quest?
yeah.
This is an XL episode, people. This is what happens. You leave me alone too long. I watch too much shit, and I am incapable of watching a movie or playing a video game or watching a TV show without talking to y'all about it. And maybe William too. I don't know. Pick a number.
6.
The number of the third of the beast. Although supposedly 666 is a mistranslation of scripture, and the actual number of the beast is 616. And I think about that every time I drive Trish to work and pass by a house whose address number is 616. I'm like, House of the Beast. All right. Assemble your crew. Make a list of 5 important people in your life and what you love about them. This sounds like a good idea, actually. The quote is from Commander Shepard. No, it's Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, not to be confused with Finn Shepard from the Sharknado movies.
Good. Thanks for clarifying that.
I'm still acting as though you can see me. I'm giving you meaningful glances and popping faces and things.
Okay.
This is the worst. All right. However insignificant. Oh my God. This is all right. However insignificant we may be, we will fight. We will sacrifice. And we will find a way. That's what humans do. I think I agree with that statement, but not in the way I think you mean that statement. But the side quest is good. Think about the people you love. I have been spending time recently considering what exactly my support network is and how much I appreciate it, because I don't give them a lot of reason to be there, but they are. And so y'all should do the same. We're all old enough now, we're all smart enough now. It's a thing to think about. Not just be grateful for the people you love or that bullshit, but just be aware, like, who in my life would I support if they needed it? Who would support me? Do they need it? Do I need it? What does that mean? Like, the logistics of your support network is a very important thing. And every once in a while, even if it sounds sort of cold and unfeeling, you should check it out, because you might need it or they might need you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So come back next week when maybe I'll have a video image, and hopefully it won't be this long. And also, in the meantime, if you email us, you'll solve a lot of these problems. themagicaltalkinghead@gmail.com. Go to the blog. Tell me why I'm wrong about several of the movies I talked about. Azure Talent, tell us about your favorite part in Blazing Saddles. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to guess it's one of the more offensive parts. But maybe not. Maybe it's just the fact that John Hillerman plays a dude named Howard Johnson, which I loved so much. Also, it's really fun to watch Blazing Saddles and then later watch Men in Tights, because at the end of Men in Tights, Dave Chappelle's character is made the new sheriff of Nottingham, and the crowd goes, "A black sheriff," and he says it worked for Blazing Saddles. So that's fun. All right. And so yeah, that's what's going on. Tune in next week when we'll do this again. And in the meantime, get out of my face.